I don't wanna waste my life. I don't wanna waste my life. Sometimes when the beat hits, it's just some things there's no going back. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'm not the one with the issues. I hear you. Now here is your tissue. If I'm moving too fast, I might have to dismiss you. And it's really too bad, cause I really will miss you. But I'm not the one with the issues. I left them at church when I made it official. I murdered the curse with my own benediction. Left God in the dirt, call it death of the fiction. Superstition will be serving eviction. Competition will be left in a ditch. Oh my God, it's too damn hot in this kitchen. The fishes are men, I'm now sleeping with fishes. Oops, my bad, I guess I'm moving too vicious. Verses sold, I gotta put them on your wish list. Bless my soul, cause I'm dodging your little hit list. I guess you know you just lost another witness. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go right now. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go, I'm out of here. I can do anything, fuck your opinions and energy. I finally got the epiphany, my biggest hindrance was God can't do nothing but fail. Greater is me, I never needed your deity. All of this human capacity, when it gets rough I can pick myself up and prevail. Cause I don't need anything other than people who fuck with me. Good business, it starts with your company. That's why your boy is obsessed with community. Cause greater is we can create opportunity. Doing what God never did, cause a God never could. But a people is all we need. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go right now. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go. Gotta let me go, gotta let me go, gotta let me go, I'm out of here. Let me go, I'm out of here. Let me go, I'm out of here. Let me go, I'm out of here.
Welcome in, everybody, on this beautiful Thursday evening. How are y'all doing out there? I'm so glad that y'all decided to join us for a Thursday night conversation. I hope y'all are ready for this. I'm actually super excited about this. I don't have a lot of announcements, so this is going to be this is going to be a good time. You missed this song, you know what? Like I completely forgot about it, and I'm glad that I played it. Man, it was a good reminder. But man, I'm so glad to see y'all here tonight. And of course, as you're coming in, let us know where you are watching from. As you are coming in, let us know where you're watching from. And of course, if you're catching this replay, let us know where you're watching from in the comments. We're checking there as well. You never know. You might be watching with your neighbor. All right. So tonight we're going to have a very interesting conversation. For the past few weeks, I've been having some interviews with some of my friends in different places. Just Tuesday night, we had H.G. Roberts on the H.G. Roberts, and we had an incredible conversation with him. And what was interesting about that is he's currently a content creator in the deconstruction space, sharing a lot of information on religious trauma while still actively, as far as at home personally, still living as a believer. And so I thought that conversation was incredible, and it looked like a lot of you did too. Now, if you haven't seen that one, then obviously this is my invitation for you to go back and check it out again. Houston, Texas is in here. Man, London is in here. I love that. Like we truly have a global situation going on here. This is beautiful. Well, tonight we're going to be continuing in that same vein, and I actually have a few more conversations like these planned. But the brother that we're going to be talking to tonight, his name is Marc Coley, and I'm going to make sure that I share his channel link in the description. It's actually already in the description. I'll also have it going across the screen tonight as we kind of get into this. And what I want you to know before I even jump into my introduction and my scripted stuff, what I want you to know is that he was one of the last interviews, like he may have been the very last interview I did while still kind of in the closet and not authentically representing myself. And I think he and I may have talked through that a little bit while I was on this channel. And so this is very full circle for me to be able to have this conversation with him tonight as he's processing some things for his life. So let me kind of set this up, and then I'm going to bring Mark, on the stage. Tonight's conversation is going to be around this. What happens when the same institution that gave you language for God, purpose, morality, family, and identity also taught you to fear yourself? Marc is an author, a coach, a keynote speaker, entrepreneur, former minister, Navy veteran, and a gay Black man who grew up deeply embedded in the church. Church shaped his identity, his relationships, his understanding of God, his sense of purpose, and his understanding of what he was allowed to be. This conversation is not about trying to deconvert Marc. It's also not about platforming soft theism or pretending religious trauma disappears because someone finds a more affirming version of faith. The focus tonight is so much deeper than that. We're going to talk about what it means to fight for freedom when the very thing you're trying to become free from has helped you. It's helped form you, helped shape you, giving your language. So tonight we're going to talk about sexuality, Black church culture, shame, ministry, identity, deconstruction, and the complicated process of becoming honest after years of being trained to hide. This is not a debate, nor is it a deconversion attempt. It's a conversation about the cost of self-acceptance, the weight of religious conditioning, and the long, difficult work of learning how to live without performing for systems that could only love a version of you that was not fully real. So without further ado, I want y'all to show some love for my friend, Marc Coley, as I bring him to the stage. Marc, welcome in, brother. How are you doing this evening?
I am well, and I'm excited to be here. And I think you are absolutely right when you left off by saying when we had our podcast, that was like maybe 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about science and different things. And
Yes.
I feel like you were flowing in that space already. And so it was just crazy in a good way, of course, to see
Absolutely.
the evolution of it. And I believe, but I want to say it publicly, even after our podcast, I cheered you on, like just
Yes, sir.
seeing where you were moving, because I know that took so much courage to just step out there. Because
Yeah.
we were dabbling on some lines there,
Yeah.
both of us, and I was talking about the science, and I'm into the mindset and the person. So we was talking about a lot of stuff there. And
Yes, sir.
And I think just seeing your journey as well just has encouraged me, like to be able to see a Black man moving in something that we grew up hearing. So it's deeply embedded in us, and it's a part of our identity, and moving away from it and rebuilding yourself. So thank you for what you do. Thank you for having me. And I'm just excited to be here.
Bruh, I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Well, listen, man, the way that I want to open this up, and I started doing this Tuesday, is I want to kind of open up the floor to you to just kind of share your story and just kind of let us know where you come from, how you got started in church and ministry, the impact that it had on your identity. I am not asking you to demonize it in any ways that is not aligned with your truth. This is a great opportunity, I think, for my community to get insight into what it looks like to be deconstructing in real time, because you, very much like me, you grew up in this. You know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't something you were new to. This is something you were true to. Yeah. And so I think this is a great case study for people who often either forget or have never been accustomed to what it feels like to be wrestling with something that has shaped you, that has formed you, and that has guided your life. And so if you will, sir, I'm going to open up the floor to you. Tell us a little bit about who you are and what your deconstructing journey has been looking like.
Well, let's start with real time deconstructing. I'm sending a text to my community about joining this conversation. So let's talk about real time deconstructing, because I literally was like, it's not really talking about mindset. Do I want to bring people in on this? And I said, you know what? Yeah, hell yeah. So y'all give me a second. Let me send this text to my community, and then we're gonna hop into the conversation. Let me go
Awesome.
and send that text out. All right, there we go. Okay, all right, it just went out. So we'll see if people want to hop on and hear me talk about something different. Um, where do we begin? Like most people, grew up in church. All I ever knew, all I ever loved. I talked on my YouTube channel about, I believe secretly, church became a safe haven for me. And it's not necessarily that I was just so on fire for the Lord, but I was. I think the reason behind that was because every other space was not safe for my authentic self. Home wasn't necessarily safe. School wasn't safe. Uh, family gatherings, I didn't feel safe. And church was the one place that felt like freedom. And I think that is why it really got or became a part of my identity. It became a performance because I wanted to excel at this thing called church. I wanted to excel at this thing called living for God. And one of the things that really helped to, I believe, cement it inside of my identity was that at church, being a Black kid, more so being a Black boy, and you love church and you love singing in the choir and you love God, and all the other kids and all the other boys are more so like, we don't want to be here. You get rewarded, you get almost praised in a sense. So it makes you want to strive to go deeper. It makes you want to strive to be even more present. So being in that space for many, many years, it just really shaped my identity. I heard a person that was deconstructing, or at least on their journey, they said something that I thought was really powerful. They said, Christianity may have been the bridge that allowed me to cross, but I don't have to destroy it when I get on the other side. And I thought that was beneficial for where I am and where I believe I will continuously evolve into, knowing that some parts I was able to pull out and it helped, but also understanding that some parts no longer serve me, and I'm okay with that. So grew up in church like many people, and I remember later on, teenage years, my sexuality started to come under question, come under a lot of question. And it got to the point where there were conversations about my sexuality, and I initially lied and said, no, 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 no. And someone told me, they said, well, God gonna tell me the truth if you don't tell me. So that terrified me at that time, because, like, oh my God, God's gonna tell you the dream, or God's gonna say something to you. So I ended up telling someone about it, and yeah, that was the beginning. That was the beginning of some major shifts in my life, where I then really suppressed my sexuality because I wanted to be a good person. I wanted to love God. I didn't want this thing that everybody was telling me was so wrong with me to consume me. I remember going on fast for 40 days. And I used to tell myself, I didn't do it long enough. I didn't do it long enough. That's the reason. And I used to psych myself out. It's so much that I look back on. I'm like, oh my God, you really just needed a hug. I was going on this, I guess, self-deliverance. Like, I was like, okay, the reason that I'm still struggling with this is because my dad's not in my life and I need to forgive him. And I'm calling this man that I have not spoken to in years, and
Wow.
crying and doing all the things. And I was really seeking to be free, not knowing that accepting myself was the freedom. And so I was running in the opposite direction, but it wouldn't be until years later that I actually had the opportunity to experience the freedom. And so We go through all those experiences. I leave to go to the Navy in 2011. And in 2011, being away from your environment, I think that gave me the opportunity or the freedom that I was seeking.
Yeah.
But it was a different type of freedom. It was freedom where I'm still gonna play the role, but live the life. I'm still gonna, you know what I'm saying? It's like
Yes,
it's
sir.
a sneaky freedom now, you know. It's like I'm free, but still I'm gonna present the image that I want you to have because I don't want to lose that part. I don't want to lose what I believe the benefits of that is, which is you love, you accept me, you appreciate me, you value me, all the things that humans, you know, seek. And so I remember I got back off deployment and I was going back and forth. Sexuality one week, save the next week. And at the same time, I'm dealing with people. I got to the point where I was just like, you know what? I'm tired of bringing people into my chaos. I'm tired of bringing people
Mm,
into this almost bipolar manic state I would be in because one week I'm cool with it. And then the
yeah.
next week I'm sending somebody a long text message, having a conversation. Hey, this is wrong. You know, God, da da da. And it was going back and forth. And I got to the point I was like, I don't want to live like this. So I
Yeah.
decided I'm just gonna X God out of my life. And the reason I X God out of my life is because I believe that my sexuality was going to consistently pull me back in. I honestly, at that moment, even being young, understood. I was like, this is a human desire that I have, and it's just not something that I'm just, you know, it's not just saying I'm not going to eat a piece of cake. This is what I believe is deeply wired in my DNA. This is an attraction that I have, and it's just not going to go away. I'm either going to be stumbling the rest of my life, or I'm going to make a decision right now not to stumble, and I'm just going to walk away from God. Well, of course, if your identity is built around God, church, Christianity, that was like a death to me as well. And I'm like, oh my, you know, it's just you feel empty because your identity has been snatched away
Yeah.
from you. And don't know, man, what possessed me to do this because the internet that we have today is not the internet of 2015. The content that we consume today is not the content that we consume, you know, a decade ago. Is just not. And something told me to get on YouTube, and I said, "Well, I know what people say about homosexuality. I know what they say as in terms of being against it. I've never heard anyone on the other side of the story. So
Yeah.
something told me to look up content relevant to somebody that actually supports sexuality or homosexuality or you know just a different thought. And I find this guy online, and his video was called God and the Gay Christian. He had a book, and till this day I still send people back to that book and that video because he presented new information. And I'm not going to be dishonest and tell you that I went back and did this deep dive study. I didn't. I
Yeah.
didn't need to. I needed to know that there could be a different thought. I that's all I needed to know that there was a possibility there.
Yeah.
You know, and I did at the time, you know, I was listening to the information, it made sense, but I just needed to understand that someone could have a different. I didn't at that moment in my journey, I didn't know you could disagree with the Bible. I didn't
Yeah.
believe that you could have a different concept, or maybe that this person who said it this way didn't understand it fully. That never registered to me. So when I came across this video and I see this guy and he's having a different opinion about things, I'm like, whoa. Now I also got to be honest too that you start thinking because Christianity has its built-in defense systems, you know, already set in place. So it's like a self-defense, like it's strong too. Because I said, wait, is this a reprobate mind?
Come on now. Yes. Yes.
so so you automatically start now you questioning, you know, like, wait, hold on. This ain't what it is because I'm so far gone that this is why it makes sense to me. And so I dealt with that for a little bit. But then on the other side of it, I started to navigate a world where I no longer believed God hated me.
Yeah.
And I believed that my sexuality was okay. And I remember
Yeah.
another instance coming up with a family member about something that I posted online. It was on Facebook. And this person carries a lot of influence in my life. And so when we had a conversation, they were like, well, it seems to me you leaning on the side of this is okay. And I
Mm,
thought for a second, because that was my opportunity to lie again, to keep the perception that you have of me safe. And I decided not to. For the first time, I decided no. I said, I don't believe that anymore. And that you just don't understand, like, people who are like guardians or people that you look up to, their opinion of you matters.
yeah.
These are people that are close to you. So when you start to pull away from that version of you that is safe for them, it is hard. It is difficult. But I chose me in that moment, and I'm so glad I did. And I said, no, that's no longer what I believe. And I I said, out of all the things that come to my heart that I believe are from God, it's never anything about my sexuality. It's not based on that part where I was in my journey. And I was like, it's never about my sexual. It's never about that. And I
Yeah.
was like, based on what people are telling me, the only thing God should be talking to me about is how wrong I am. But I was like, that's not there. I only
Yeah.
feel condemned when I'm talking to people like that believe I'm
Mm,
condemned. It's not coming from inside. That the threat is not coming from internally, it's coming from outside. That's what the
yeah.
threat is. And so that began the journey. It's still a journey though, man, if I'm honest. That self-hatred can be so deeply embedded in you that you would spend years digging up parts and rocks and stones. And I know people say sticks and stones may break my bones, but words, yet those words hurt. They
Yeah.
stick, they start to define your reality, starts to define your experience, your existence. And so I am still on a journey. I've been crying in therapy for the last few sessions because I mourned for the version of me that did not feel safe, the version of me that felt like if I was honest, people wouldn't love me. I still mourn for him, because I walked through those shoes, but now being on the other side in some aspects, I'm like, people ask me, how does it feel like to be out and different things? I was like, it was the hardest things I ever done in my entire life because I had to sit a lot of people down that I loved.
Yeah.
But it is the most liberating thing I could ever do in my life because those who decided to stay, which I have to say were a majority, um, they love all of me and not parts of me. Yeah.
Man.
So I turned it over to you to come back and talk to me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Dude, that's beautiful. And man, I have so many questions and I really want to jump right into this because you oh, this is good. Okay. So I kind of want to start here. You opened up and you said church was a safe haven for you
Yeah.
when you were younger, that it felt like freedom. Can you describe to us what about that? What felt freeing for you? Tell us what that looks like. Can you unpack that a little bit?
Yeah, sure. And I thought a lot about that. I did a video talking about why gay men kind of like it are heavily populated in the church, in the black gay church.
Yeah.
I mean the black church, I'm sorry. But I believe that's the one place that your expression is
Mhm.
tolerated a little bit more,
Yep.
especially if you lean more so on the feminine side.
Yeah.
Because with that feminine energy that you bring, you're probably going to be contributing to the upkeep of the church,
Yep.
the hospitality, the choir. Your
Yes.
gifts and your creativity are going to be utilized in that church. And so maybe that's the one space where you're tolerated. Now, if
Yeah.
you lean towards more so to the masculine side, so I don't want to use the word DL, but you're not necessarily, nobody picks you out in the lineup and say you're the gay one.
Yeah.
You're really celebrated in the church because you fit the mold. You fit
Come on now.
you have charisma, you're passionate about it. It's the place that gives you identity. It's the place that gives you a title. You're a minister and you move up in the ranks. You were the youth minister. Now you're the minister. Now
Mhm.
you're an elder. Now you're the pastor. Now you're the bishop. And it just continues to go up. And you feel safe in that space because nobody questions you. You
Yeah.
know, it just
Yeah.
you're just a good guy. And
Yeah.
everybody wants you to get married, and you just, it's just you, and then you fall into the lines of that. So I believe it was just safe for me because that was the place that I didn't get picked on in church.
Yep.
Church is going to be full of mostly women. So
Yeah.
women are going to celebrate that you love God because
Yes.
that's beautiful to them. They want you to get up, go ahead and say your speech, baby. Go ahead and say your speech. You just, I love Lord, and it's like, so it's, and you as a kid, if you're getting that type of praise here and
Yes.
nowhere else, because at school, when you get up and say your speech or you say your whatever, you're
Come
being
on now.
laughed at. Look at that
Yeah.
sissy.
Come
Look at
on
that
now.
faggot. So it's
Yes,
just like,
sir.
this is the space where I'm about to dominate in this area. As a kid, you're not saying that in your mind, of course, because you don't
Yeah.
know. You just know, okay, they clap for me here, boo for me over there. So if they're
Yep.
clapping for me here, how can I get more claps? And
Man.
more claps is just to continuously go up and get more deeply invested. So your love for God is not necessarily pure.
Yeah.
It's an
Yeah.
attempt to get the love of people.
Oh, yeah.
You know
Now
what I'm
there's a
saying?
lot of that. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
That's good. That's
Yeah.
good. Well, that's what I'm sitting with, that because you're highlighting a dichotomy that many people don't understand.
Mhm.
The common view, at least from the secular side of things, is the church is unsafe for gay people. It is an
Mhm.
unsafe place because of the theology. It is an unsafe place. And I think sometimes we forget the difference between theology and conversation and theology and practice.
Yeah.
And I think, growing up in these churches, you realize there's a lot of conversations that's on the outside. But like you just said, there was something about having that more
Mhm.
feminine expression of self
Yeah.
that was actually to be, especially to be Black and in the South, for damn sure.
Yeah.
Church becomes that type of safe haven. Thank you for giving us insight
Yeah.
into that.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely a safe haven. It was a place you were required to be. So I guess you made sure it was. If I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna continuously go upward. In my
Yes.
journey with it. Because
Yeah.
but I think about my counterparts as kids. They hated church. I love church
Come on
because
now.
I
Yeah.
felt safe there. But they felt safe other places. They felt safety with their friends. They felt safety at home. I didn't. So church was that place where, okay, I could be me in a
Yeah.
sense. And, and I think what you just said about sometimes people look at you, especially if you're gay and you
Mhm.
attend a church that is not affirming, how can you be there? It's because you've allowed yourself to figure out how to sit with the abuse and still
Yeah.
call it love. You're
Oof.
just like, yeah, they don't rock with me like that, or I talked to someone, I can't remember when, but he was like, yeah, yeah, everybody they know, but
Yeah.
my bishop knows, and but I know what I need to do too. So I was like, oh, okay. I didn't want to push him back on that issue because that's still a part of his journey, his identity. But it just, you learn to sit with the abuser,
Yeah.
like okay, yeah, it's some
Ah,
hate's gonna be spewed out, but I'm okay with that because
yeah.
I'm safe here.
Yep.
So,
That's good. That's good nuance.
yeah.
It's almost like I'm safer. I'm
Mm,
not as I'm
yeah.
not as safe as I want to be.
Wanna
This
be.
would
Yeah.
not be my privilege. This would not be my priority. Sure, if there was another congregation somewhere that said come as you are and really meant it,
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
wasn't checking for me like that, then
Yeah.
I'd likely be over there. But this is the safest place that I can be
Mm,
by comparison. And I don't want to over glorify it. I feel like, and you check me if I'm wrong, because I think this is something that many of us have to do. You end up having to compartmentalize safety.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
when I want safety with my sexuality, I'll go over here. When I
Yeah.
want safety with my creativity, I'll go over here. When
Yes.
I want
Yes.
safety with my
Yeah.
business and entrepreneurial desires, I'll go
Oh,
over here.
yes.
I have to compartmentalize myself into
That's
so
crazy.
many different categories. And after a while, you really do get used to it. I
You
think people think
do.
church is the only place that asks that of us.
Yeah.
But there are so many rooms that tell us, hey, I want this part of you, turn the
Yes.
rest of that shit off.
Yes. Plenty of rooms, and we do it. We do it
Yes.
easily. Like you get into you. It's crazy how fast we can get into character. You know, some of the people in
Yes.
the chat right now. If your boss calls you, hey, how's it going?
Come on now.
Get right into character, like boom,
Yes.
and you've learned how to navigate those spaces because you do want to feel safe. You do
Yeah.
want to feel that your humanity is accepted. So yeah, we know how to. They say code switch, and we know how to code switch real
Come
quick.
on now.
And especially as a gay man, like I learned quickly how to code switch. I had a conversation with a friend of mine a few days ago. We talk about sexuality and spirituality a lot,
Yeah.
and we was talking about the benefits of being a masculine gay man and that expression. And I was like,
Yeah.
man, I got to do a video about that because that's just a whole nother conversation. Because I get I'm able to get into more doors than my feminine counterpart. And we have the
Okay. Yeah.
same we do the same thing. We're
Yeah.
attracted to a man,
Yeah.
but a feminine black gay man has a whole nother lived experience than what I have that I cannot relate to,
Ooh.
because my expression is not feminine. Somebody may say, like, "Oh, well, I knew you was gay," but a majority of people are not just gonna come across me and be like, he's gay, he's gay, he's gay,
Yeah.
he's gay.
Come on.
Unless you're looking for hyper masculinity,
Yeah.
but the average person is probably just gonna be like, oh, okay, I didn't know that, I didn't
Yeah.
assume that. But for those who have different expressions, they have a different lived experience. And so we just had that conversation about even, the degrees of your presentation,
Mhm.
masculine presenting gets me in way more doors. People feel safer around me. Even heterosexual men feel safer around me
Yeah.
than if I was like doing
Yeah.
all the things. And I have to
Yes.
also understand that as well, because is that who am I really masculine presented, or have I code switched so much that
Wow.
that's just not even in my, I don't even pull that trigger because I know it doesn't yield the results that I want. So
Yeah.
that's a whole conversation too by itself, like that, the presentation, how I show up. I also believe that while I love my family and my friends and those who loved me after I shared my truth, I believe it would have been harder for them to take it if it came in a different form. I
Yeah.
think I'm a easier gay guy to love,
Yeah.
if that makes
Wow.
sense. I think I'm the
Wow.
easiest on the totem pole to love. Like, you know, uh, 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 just I fit a lot of those safe metrics,
Yeah.
if you take me around people that, like I said, they most of the time wouldn't suspect. That's like, oh, he's nice, he's this, he's that. Versus if I showed up in heels and makeup and
Yeah.
eyelashes and different things. So it's
That's man.
yeah.
That's what it immediately has me thinking about, and I've shared about this in my book, and I know I've talked about it on my channel. But back in my pastoring days, I hired two praise and worship leaders back to back who
Hmm.
I describe as apparently gay.
Hmm.
Now they were both, for the most part, masculine presenting,
Yeah.
but they were so close on the other spectrum that it was
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
I see it. I see it, and of course, I considered myself the hood pastor, and like,
Hmm.
we the church that love everybody. We're not to beat you up church. We're to pick you up church.
I
I
like that.
constantly say stuff like, at that time, we don't care who you slept with last night. So I'm thinking my church is going to be super duper okay with this.
Yeah.
And
Mm.
like, when I hired the first one, we lost like 40% of our membership in a month,
Wow.
primarily men,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I was just like, what?
Whoa. Hmm.
And it was so shocking to me. And I was like, and so I went back to leading the praise and worship for a
Yeah.
while. And then I got tired of that shit. And I
Yeah.
said, you know what? I'm hiring somebody else. And he also happened to be apparently gay. And I said, I
Yeah.
don't care. At this
Yeah.
moment, look, if
It is what it
whoever's
is.
here, they should be here for the real deal now. And we
Yeah.
actually built back up after that.
Yeah.
But throughout that process, because this actually ended up being a major part of my deconversion journey, I begin to question why I never specifically affirmed his lifestyle in my sermons
Ooh.
the way that I affirmed others.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because like
Yeah.
I would say specifically, I don't care if you're a drug dealer, drug user, you know what
Mm.
I'm saying? I'd say
Yes,
specifically,
man.
I don't care who you slept with last night,
Yeah.
but never talked about same gender loving anything beyond that traditional norm.
Yes.
And that made me very uncomfortable to
Wow.
sit with. So I'd like to ask you, like, what was it like for you? Because, like, I'm sure you were part of churches who use language just like I did. Like,
Yeah.
no, everybody come on up in here
Yeah.
while never hearing your particular identity affirmed. What does that
Yeah.
feel like?
Um, Death by 1,000 cuts, you
Man,
know, to your it goes back to that compartmentalizing your existence.
yeah.
It's just like you learn to embrace the abuse and accept it for love. Kind of like
Wow.
it is what it is type of almost like, church, especially Western Christianity, talks a lot about witchcraft, spells, and this and that. But
Uh-huh.
when you subject yourself to that level of abuse so frequently, you're literally under a spell. You
Yeah.
are under a spell, and you
Yeah.
you don't feel you have any say so. But to your point, I've been in many of those spaces, where the big sins are called out,
Yep.
but it gayness is never affirmed, and it's never necessarily said either. I applaud you, for even being brave enough to say, I don't care who you slept with, because
Yeah.
even that was a stretch, what I'm saying? It's typically the liar, the fornicator, the gossiper. We
Yes.
love all people. We love all people. It's just like this unspoken disclaimer, except
Except,
except
yes.
except we really do. And I've had, to your point about even being the hood church, me and my friend have this conversation all the time in the Black community. Baby, you could be everything.
Come
Do not
on,
be a gay Black man. Do
man.
not be a punk. Do
Come
not
on.
be a sissy. And I'm using these words, you guys. Hopefully you guys are okay with me using these words, but these are
Ye-
real words that were used to oppress me at one
Yes,
point in
sir.
time.
Tell your story.
So don't be that. Don't.
Yeah.
And it's like a man can go out and have so many kids, not be in his kid's life.
Come
My dad
on.
wasn't in my life. He can go to jail. Baby, you can go to jail, have unalived somebody. They're gonna be wearing t-shirts saying free you. Free
Yes.
you when you did it. No, keep him there. This is
When
a
you
criminal.
did it, bruh.
He did it. We know he did it. He got a track record. But the one who is just gay,
Yeah.
I mean, that's it. He's just
Yeah.
sleeping with somebody that he wants to sleep with, just like
Yeah.
everybody else.
Oh, man.
It's like that's such a stab in the heart. And so when you see people respond to it like that about your sexuality, you start to internalize that, like, wait, hold on. Not that you compare morality, because that's based on our current culture,
Mhm.
construct, but it's like, wait a minute. I'm this. I'm in school. I'm this, and this is too. I had me and my friends be having so many conversations about these dynamics, and it's like I believe that's why sometimes gay Black men really, if they have the privilege to leave home, they excel.
Yeah.
They excel because they're fighting to show you, or the people that they love, that I am worth loving. And so they're going to be
Mm.
highly paid. They're going to move to LA. They're going to move to Atlanta,
Wow.
where they're embraced, accepted, and they're going to excel. And
That's
then what you're going to have is the family friends start to reimagine their relationship. And it's like, it's still a form of abuse to me, because now you don't want me because you truly love. You want me because of the fruits that I have produced. And so we
Yeesh.
both are standing in this weird space, because I'm only doing this because I need your validation, and you're only coming around because you want my results. And so we're just all meshed together like we really love each other, but it ain't even love. It's just,
It's
it's all of it's fake. All of it's
it
an illusion.
it seems to be like it's the same relationship as a gay person with the church. You want me because of my talents
Yes.
and my
Yeah.
gifts, and it just seems like the cost to be gay in the family just seems to be higher.
Yeah.
Not only do I have to be gifted, I have to be gifted and
And
successful.
successful. Yeah.
Like, and
Yeah.
that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. especially when you look at the quality of the man that you advocate for, that you look
Mm-hmm.
out for, that you take
Mm-hmm.
up for, that
Yep.
you allow to come live with you rent free. You
Say it
know,
now.
so many opportunities that you give this person to
Yeah.
change, and they never change. But that one that and it has always been so interesting to me how much people know biblical passages when it comes to the sin that they well, something that I don't like calling it a sin because I don't believe that. But and when it's something that they believe is a sin, how they well, the
Mm-hmm.
Bible say, the Bible say, the Bible say a lot of things that you're not listening to. What are we even
Right.
talking about? You know, so don't bring the
Yes.
Bible into this fight now. Like you come on now, don't do that. You know,
Oh man.
I used to think about that all the time. I was like, half of the people that are telling me what the Bible says don't even know the Bible. You know,
Come
like
on, like
it's like, what? Come on, man, don't do that.
man. Okay, so I have to ask this, and again, no judgment. So you tell your truth. We're not picking
Yeah.
at you tonight in any way.
Yeah.
What is your relationship with the Bible now? Like, how has that changed over the years?
I look at it for principles.
Okay, yeah,
So just I got many books behind me. Well, you can't see them in this Zoom, but there may be something I read in a book called Psycho-Cybernetics, which is
okay,
one of my all-time favorite books. I may not understand or agree with it.
yeah,
But there may be parts I'm like, I understand this, I get it. I now look at the Bible from that lens. I look at there are some truths in here,
yeah,
principles that I do believe in.
yeah,
Um, but everything I had a conversation with a friend of mine the other day. She's older. We grew up in this kind of same church space, but always had this connection. She said something in a conversation we were having. I was like, I think I can share this with her. And we'll get to that point of the reason why I said I think I can share it with her. I shared something with her. I was like, you know, we believe everything we hear in the Bible. And she
yeah.
said, yeah, yeah. And I said, let's start in the beginning. There's a snake talking to a woman. And she started laughing. I knew then her mind was open. I say, a snake. And that's literally, she's like, Coley, you are crazy. I said, think about it. A snake is having a conversation with a
Yeah.
woman. And we get up and the Bible said,
Yes,
the
sir.
woman, she
Yeah.
said to the serpent, a snake
Yeah.
is talking.
Yep. Yes, he is. Mm-mm.
And she busts out laughing. So I was like, yeah. Like, so now I look at things like that don't make sense. And I'm okay with saying that don't make sense.
Yeah.
It don't
Okay,
make
hold
sense.
up. Now let's sit in that. How hard was it for you to get to that place where you could say that about the Bible? Because, like, dude, this
Yeah.
is the word of God. This
Yeah.
is thing like for many of us, we live or die by this thing. How hard was that for you to get to that place from this is the unadulterated word of truth to this is a book with some good principles in it, and there might be some truth in here that I can like. How hard was it for you to make that transition?
It started with God and the Gay Christian because remember I told you that was like the
Mhm.
door opening where there could be difference of beliefs
Yeah,
with this Bible. So
yeah,
that was the beginning. But to arrive here, this has been a journey of at least about 10 years of getting,
man.
you know, just bit by bit. And I think it comes to you think it, and I've thought many things for many years, but it's different when you're able to say it out loud to another ear.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
that is a difference for me that I've stepped into maybe within the last 2 or 3 years where I'm able to say that don't make sense.
Yeah.
Before I was just thinking like that don't make sense, you know, like a
Mhm.
lot of stuff just doesn't make sense, you know. But and honestly, man, if I'm just 100% honest, even before deconstructing sexuality thing, there was years ago I can remember having conversation in my head that don't make sense.
Yeah.
But it's just it's like you are forced to make it like you contort yourself to say it
Come on.
makes sense.
Yes.
And because it's like this echo chamber. Everywhere I go, I hear people saying it makes sense.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
gotta somehow maneuver myself to make it make sense too, and to believe it makes sense. And like I said, it has that built-in system where it tells you this is the infallible word of God. So it's already concluded that you're going to start doubting. So now
Yes.
to conquer that doubt, this is the infallible word of God. So it's like, oh, now I'm getting nervous. Like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
don't you question God? Okay. So it's all these systems but once you start unlocking those doors and getting brave enough to go a little bit further, you're like, oh, okay, it's okay. It's just, it don't make sense, and that's okay. The world will still turn tomorrow. It's okay.
Man, I love that.
Yeah.
I often tell people that many people's deconstruction journey didn't start the moment they changed their belief. Most people are deconstructing from day one.
Yeah.
They're always finding things that don't make sense and updating their process.
Yeah.
Like for example, I got saved in a Pentecostal holiness church, Church of Our Lord Jesus Christ, very small splinter denomination. It didn't take me long enough to realize these people don't know what the hell they're talking about.
Yeah.
And so I started searching a little further, and I ended up getting involved with the more word of faith movements. I was a part of Victory Christian Ministries International under Tony and Cynthia Brazelton. And I actually loved them, but my family was dysfunctional as hell, so I got sent back to Dothan. But I got involved with another Rhema affiliated church, and so stayed in the Word of Faith circle, but then eventually realized I kind of feel uncomfortable in these circles. I feel like I have to perform whiteness to be accepted in these circles. I feel like I can't pull on the cultural aesthetics of Black preaching and what that means to people. And as a person leading a Black church, I'm like, no, I want to holler every now and then too. I want to tune up too. Like it's a part of the culture. Like let me do it too. And so I got involved in the more urban, urban scenes. But all of that was a part of me deconstructing what it meant to be saved, what it meant to be working for God, what it meant to be following truth, which is why I love your story so much. I want to circle back to another question. And that's, you said being in the choir, and you talked about being in the choir and how that was rewarded. And we've talked about this a little bit, but I want to talk about this because this is something that I highlight. Now, this is something that I'm constantly talking to the secular community about, is like, what space do you have for creatives? Okay. Because it's not just the aspect that you're flamboyant or feminine. It's also the aspect that you are creative. You are a person who can sing, and likely you're going to be more willing to be a part of the church plays, and you're going to be more willing to be a part of the musicals and whatever else, and the oratory stuff that the church has going on. And there's plenty of space for you to do that. How much of that plays a role in church feeling safe? Like, what did it feel like? Did you ever look beyond the church for spaces to be your creative self? Or was church that primary place that made that the opportunity?
That was the primary place. And it's the low barrier to entry space as well.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
Yes.
it is. Like church is, I believe I've always been a speaker, but church gave me the opportunity to speak and practice. Because I had the charisma, I know, and I started to understand human psychology in church. Like I used to look at speakers and be like, why are they responding to this one this way and this one that way? So I started to learn cadence. I started to learn like everything. When I would sing songs, I remember, people would tell me, go ahead and stir the people up. I didn't know what that meant. I mean, I knew what it meant, but I didn't know the psychology of what I was. And it was motivating them, inspiring them, so that's really why I honed in on my gifts. To say that there were spaces outside of church, I'm sure there were, but I didn't have to code switch as much, I guess. Like church was just the easiest space. It's like, I'm already getting the claps, so let me turn it up on y'all. Other spaces, I believe you had to, for me, I would have had to fit a more masculine role in order to be in those spaces. And I probably really had to contort my identity. In church, that is going on as well. But I think outside of church, it's just like you really got to fit into that hyper masculinity that people expect Black men to have. Even Black men can't even be heterosexual and just not hyper masculine, because if you're not, it's church teaches you
better
that
say that
you're polarizing. It's like either hot or cold, lukewarm, you're gonna get spewed out. So if you're not hyper masculine, even if you're straight, like
Yeah.
black
It's
culture is
like
gonna
you
be
either
like, you
white
gay.
beater or bow tie. Like there's
Yeah.
no in between.
It's no in between. So if you're a smart black guy, if you don't fit into those outside constructs unless you rap, unless you
Come on.
get in the hoes, you know, like you just don't fit in those spaces. So church is just the easiest gateway into creativity, into expression, into, you know, just the things. I think the gay guy is gonna have all the ideas on how to improve, how to beautify the church, not just
Yeah.
to beautify the systems and the structure and the organization. They're gonna have
Yeah.
all these, because it's like all this creativity is just waiting to be released, and church is like, hey, we want your ideas. Wow, that's amazing. Look at how God is using you. And it's like when I give my dog a treat, he understands, okay, I'm getting a treat because I did this. So the next time when I say, you want a treat, my dog be on it, like, oh, let me get in space. Like, I want that treat. So that's what I learned and people learn to do. I want the treat of your validation. So what do I
Yeah.
got to do? I'm going to do it. And it's going to seem as though it's Holy Ghost inspired, but what's inspiring me is just human psychology. I want to be validated.
Yeah.
And I don't get it anywhere else. I believe if I was receiving that love and validation everywhere else, I probably wouldn't have been this thing inside of church. Because also thinking about this is when I started to really deconstruct and really just step into my sexuality and say, this is who I am. Not that I'm just going to be walking around waving a flag all day long. It's just, this is who I am, but I'm not hiding it, but this is it. And so I knew then there was going to be a death to the idea of me becoming this traveling preacher. I knew that. And so that was a hard pill to swallow too, because I had been told by so many people, you're gonna be traveling, you're gonna be that. And that was gonna be like the cream of the crop for me, because I knew I could speak. I know I got the charisma. I know I got whatever that it factor is, I know I got it. You know, so it's like, dang, so how else will I prosper? How else will I, what other avenue? Because that's what church feels like. It feels like that one space that you got to be somebody. And if you mess up that door, there's no way you can prosper or just be relevant or be impactful. But of course, here we are. You and I.
Come on now. Say it. Say it. You know, okay, so what's incredible about that is you hit on something that I don't think people even think about. Like, I haven't even thought about it until you mentioned it. And that is, church also allowed you to be in this space where you're able to be fully creative. And I thought about that because, like, I was a part of chorus and stuff in school. And, like, in the South, it was all concert music, performance music. And so, like, it was here, I had to sing it a specific way. I had to, you know, we had to sing specific songs. Many times with songs like, I don't know this song. I've never heard this song. I would never listen to this song. But then even once I moved up north, we did get to do like more popular music, but it still had to be performed a certain way for the concert. And then, but church really did create this space where you didn't necessarily have to code switch on your creativity. And I think one of the things that many people don't see is that church is likely, and this is why I often call modern gospel music, praise and worship music, just community music. It's become one of the last bastions of space that exists in a multi-genre type of atmosphere, because the creatives who are entering that space are now driving the sound of that space. And that, I do think that's one area that other communities can learn, especially, man, from the gospel culture, is that, like, I don't know if you remember when Kirk Franklin, they said he was going too far. You know? and
people that thought going to Christian gospel music going too far, he went further.
He went further. And so now, like, the gospel sound, the praise and worship sound, there's hip hop in it, there's pop in it, there's jazz in it, there's funk in it. It's such a blend. And I think a part of that is just owed to the fact that just to the truth of what you spoke of, just having that place where you could be creative the way you want it to be creative, especially when it came to those things. Because the real is, the church is going to do what works. The smart ones are. You come in there, they're going to look at you funny the first few times you do it. And they're going to say, you know what? People coming back when that boy sang. And so after a while, they'll let you keep on doing it. But That's very interesting. Thank you for sharing that, man.
Yeah, for sure.
You spoke of maybe because I haven't forgiven my dad at one point in this story. When you're trying to find ways to rationalize why it is the way that you are. Now, going to your dad is a really specific space. So I want to ask you, what does father wounds mean to you? Because there's of course, as a Black man, as a Christian, and as a person where we have a theology in the Christian worldview of an absent father, type of situation, or at least an unpresent father or omnipresent, but it's one you got to reach out to. What does father wounds mean to you? Like when you hear that phrase in the context of where you were when you were trying to rationalize why I am the way that I am, and maybe it's because of this broken relationship with my father. Help us understand what took you there.
Well, you're searching. I think at that time I was being introduced to like more demonic theology, like about possession, about curses, and because there had to be a reason why I was like this.
Yeah.
I was searching, deeply searching, because contrary to what sometimes people say about gay people, I used to hear, you want to be like this. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
That you just bother me so much, and even now, like I gotta control my kind of like, 'cause it's like that is the silliest thing that I could hear, because it's like you don't understand how all my life I've had to fight. Like I'm fighting to be human psychology. Like when I start understanding that, like just the human psyche, like we want to be like everybody else. We want to be in the herd. Herd represents to us and our nervous system safety.
Absolutely.
Especially as a kid, I don't want to go against what everybody else is doing. I want to be right there in the flock. I don't want to be an original. I want to be a duplicate of the next guy, because that's safety for me. So when you hear people say, those things, you're like, man, that's not the case. But in terms of where I was in that space, I was being introduced to those thoughts, like, okay, maybe possession, maybe it's a this or that. And I think it took me to wanting to figure out, was I holding on to any unforgiveness with my dad? And I'm sure there was a little there, maybe, but I really wasn't thinking about the man, because I had other people in my life that was filling in those spots. But I was trying to figure out, like I was just this investigator, like in my life, like why am I gay? Like it got to be a reason other than I'm gay because I'm gay. Like that was it. Out of the sperms that met the egg, I was the one, and I was the one that was gay. So then that couldn't be the case. It had to be some reason. It had to be something that I had the power to change, because I'm believing like, okay, it gotta be a way that I can undo this, or conform. So wanting to forgive him and make amends. I mean, it didn't go anywhere, honestly. I remember crying a lot, like and I think in my mind I was like, okay, it's done. Only for a week or so later, those thoughts came back, and then you gotta fight with why the thoughts are back. Like maybe I didn't do the right thing.
Yes,
absolutely.
So, yeah. No, I 100% get that. I can reflect on having plenty of times where others have come to me and kind of given me this type of language. Well, Durante, you're this way because your father wasn't in your life. I've even had people who claim to operate in the prophetic. I can remember one specific lady came to me and said, if you sow me a seed of $2,000, God is going to fix that relationship with your father.
Wow.
And I was like, oh, I'm good on that. That relationship can
so
live with that.
I am so good. I may have a better chance of restoring a relationship by giving him the $2,000.
Right? Come on now. Oh my!
You might want to come back around after that. Like, you know what, son, I want to be in your life.
Yeah, like nah.
Yeah.
Oh man. Okay, so you talked about going through these points of going on kind of like hot, cold, and I definitely I feel like I know what that's like.
Yeah.
And then when you go back onto those moments where you're like, ooh, I don't need to do that.
Yeah.
when you're reaching out to people and telling them, hey, I shouldn't have done that and we don't need to be doing this, what's going through your mind? Help us understand that,
Yeah.
and help us, like, imagine that the like you're sending that message and the other person is on the other side of it, and they don't come from your belief system, and so they're trying to figure out, like, why is this person who I
Yeah.
thought I had this really strong connection with just letting me go? Can you
Yeah.
kind of give them insight into what's going on with you?
Yeah. You just took me back to those days of doing that. But while you're doing it, you feel so good. Honestly, you feel good because you feel like, oh, I'm doing the right thing.
Mhm.
I'm fighting my flesh and my desires, and I'm breaking this. It's like every week you get a new start, and that's what you feel like. You something gave you a conviction. Maybe it was a church service, maybe it was a thought, maybe it was something. Anything could trigger that because it's sitting in you still. So when you send that text of we can't do this, you feel so justified. You feel so holy. You feel so
Mhm.
I'm the big person in the situation, and I'm calling it off. I'm fighting my temptation. And it's
Oh
almost
my
like you want
goodness.
this little halo to ascend from heaven and just kind of sit at the top of your head like, ah,
Oh,
only to
snap.
snatch that bad boy off the next day when you get horny and now you back in that loop again. Now to the other people, I think I got blocked back in the day a lot because I probably just seemed so unstable, which I was, I was unstable,
Yeah,
like you're going back and forth. And even if the other person had similar beliefs, they had whatever they did, they had already settled in their minds, this is what I'm doing
yeah,
and I'm okay. You're not
yeah,
okay with it, so
yeah.
yeah, so yeah, I probably to some people then was just like a person playing games, didn't know what they
Mhm.
want. But the truth is I didn't. I
Yeah,
didn't.
yeah.
It wouldn't have been a lie. I didn't. I was confused. I was back and
Mm-mm.
forth. I was a double-minded man is unstable in his always way.
That's right. Come
That's
on
a
now,
principle. I believe that. I was
bruh.
double-minded. I was very unstable. So yeah.
No.
Yeah, but I'm so glad to be on the other side of that. Like it's just, but when I talk to people in there in that space, I my heart goes out to them because I know what it's like. It's like you think you're doing the right thing by denying like that part of you, because by denying it, you're telling yourself, I still believe I'm flawed in that area. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Man, and that's wild, because then it's not only that I'm flawed, or at least for me, it was also that the people that have allowed me to do this with them are also flawed. And if
Yeah.
they not sad and repentant like I'm
Something
sad and
wrong.
repentant, something wrong with them.
And now you got to be the God to get them back to God. Like, come on, man,
Yes.
we need to go to church. We need to do this. We
Yes.
gotta pray. You need to ask for forgiveness. It's like, sit down somewhere
So,
because you're gonna
yep,
be
yep.
back. You're gonna be back
Doing too
over here
much.
next week. Like
Oh no, like that was a real struggle for me. Like
that's a
I
real,
look
yeah.
back on some moments in my own life and I'm like, dude, I know you weren't trying to be, but you was a jackass. Like
You weren't trying. That was your
you
intention.
you done convinced this girl to do all this stuff with you, and then you done broke up with her because now she ain't holy enough. You mother,
Jeez, that's
like, oh my
crazy.
goodness. It makes
Yeah.
me cringe just thinking about
Yes.
it.
Yeah.
But no, that's what happens when you are groomed in a state where your wants are not allowed to be
Mm.
defined by your desires.
Woo.
Like I'm living with my wants, and my desires are not the same thing. I don't even know what to do with that,
That's
you know?
crazy.
And so, like, you constantly having
Wow.
to cut yourself and other
Yeah.
people around you
Yeah.
just to reconcile that. That's stuff that people don't think about, though.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah. It's such a hell to be in.
yeah.
'Cause deeply, you're going back.
Yeah.
You're going back.
Oh my
It may not be
goodness.
with the same person, but you're going back. And
That's
it's
the
like,
reason for the performance. That's the
yes.
reason for trying to get that halo this one
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
so you can
Yeah.
say, you remember how good I was that last time? So you can justify being able to go back.
You're going back. That's the crazy part. You do all of that to go right back.
Yes.
Like, yeah. It's yeah. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt, started the
Man,
business around it. But
whole business. Oh
yeah,
man.
yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Whew.
it's just a rough place to be because and that's why I said earlier when we were sharing something about like how people describe you your experience as sin. And I stopped saying, because I used to also say things even as I was deconstructing, like, well, people have different sins. I immediately stopped saying it because I was like, I'm still teaching, I'm still under the curse.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
still implying that I believe this is a sin. And as long as I have that as this foundational intel about my existence and experience, I'm always going to have the safe self-hatred in my heart. It's like I keep
Yes.
reinforcing it by saying, well, you got a different kind of sin. Wait, hold on. I'm not you got a different experience,
Come on.
like
Yes.
I'm no longer, but that's a part of that conversation. So it gets so deeply embedded in you that you start spewing the same hate that you're saying you're deconstructing from. Like you still reaffirming it, or maybe people seeing differently. I no longer have that sin conversation because I don't believe it's a sin. So now when you come to me about something being a sin, according to what and according to who?
Yes.
So it's a sin based on your perspective, and you get
it.
to live in the world of your perspectives and your belief systems. I'm no longer in that world. So we can't even have a conversation about it. I'm not going to debate you because you get to have that. You get to be in that world.
That's it.
Yeah.
You stay away from all the liquor you want to stay away from.
Stay away, baby. Stay away. Don't you go over there. Because a devil is about to jump out. That liquor spirit is going to get on you. Don't you go over there. And you get to live in the fruit. I was teaching my community Monday about we have my beliefs are we have God created the universe, and the universe has principles, and the universe does not go by a moral code. It's not it's not, like, well, you were good, you were bad. And so when you start to pull away from this sin consciousness, you start to see the world differently. Like, no, I can make a decision. Now, is this decision in the best interest for me? Yes or no? You get to determine that. But there is no demonic principle or demon about to hop on you when you walk in the liquor store, because you walk around paranoid all the time. Like, I can't be around people who drink because that demon gonna hop on me. No, you just wanted a drink. That's it.
You just wanted a drink. That's it.
That's it. Now, maybe you're a person that you got an addicted personality. So you gotta be mindful of that if you don't want to be addicted. It ain't even spiritual, it ain't even deep.
Yeah.
When you just start going through things like, that's crazy. Why? But when you believe it, you believe it.
You believe it.
It tells me that's the power of the world that you can create around you, and then you found others who relate, so that world seems to expand. And they confirm what you believe, confirmation bias. So
Oh man, yes. You said that you didn't know you could disagree with the Bible. And I know we've talked a little bit about what opened that up, but what does that mean for you? Like, and I feel like I get it, because like, no, you're presented it as if it is infallible.
Yeah.
Which means your entire approach to this thing has to be, it's right, you just don't understand yet.
Ooh.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
No matter what you think about when you read, like, wait, there's a talking snake. Nope, it's right.
It's right.
You just don't understand yet. No matter how you feel when you get to the Noah story and God decides, let's just drown everybody. Drown them all. Like, you know what? Nope, it's right. I just don't understand. When old girl get turned into a pillar of salt just for looking back.
It's right.
It's right. I just don't understand. But something then happens where you mentioned that internal voice of, this don't make any sense, to becoming an external voice of, you're actually saying it, like, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
What is that transition for you? How do we, first of all, tell us what it feels like to be reading it, feeling like it doesn't make sense, but not feeling safe enough to say that out loud.
It goes back to needing to be a part of the pack. So if the pack says this is what we believe and this is what is truth, you have to, even if you hold doubt in your heart, pretend that this makes sense. Now, the entire pack could be thinking the exact same thing, but to uphold the system, the entire pack pretends along with you. So
Yep.
we're all just in this illusion, and we repeat it over and over and over and over again. We preach about it. We use it to build our lives around. When we're encouraging people, well, you better not look back. The woman, she turned into it turns into it becomes a part of our language, a part of our talking points. And
Yes.
so going from listening or hearing it in my mind to saying it out loud, it just feels really, really good. But I'll also say this, man. I don't say my truth around everybody, and not because I'm ashamed or hiding. Everybody's not ready yet.
That's
And I'm
real.
okay with that. I'm
Yeah.
okay, because I said this when I was, in parentheses or in quotation mark, on fire for the Lord. It really was a multi-level marketing, because your job is to go out and win souls. This is like multi-level marketing. You
Yes,
trying to get
sir.
somebody in the pipeline. You're having meetings. Let me let you talk to my pastor. My pastor can tell you about our church. It's a multi-level marketing. And so if you're not careful, you become detached from the system of Christianity, but still carrying like that energy. And if I'm deep, that spirit of it. So then you feel like, okay, it's my job to convert everybody to what I believe now. I was like, dang, it's that same thing over here. So I gotta uproot that too. Like, I gotta uproot the fact of my way is not the only way.
Yes.
And if your way is your way right now, I'm not going to impose on that way. I was telling you about my friend. She said something, and I said, I think I can insert this here. But before that, I'll go along with the illusion. You could be talking about the Bible all day long. You're saying stuff I don't believe. I'm like,
I hear you.
Even if I say what my truth is, you're not ready to receive it yet. You're not. It'll do more harm to you than good, because now you're going to immediately go on defense. You're immediately, because you got to defend the identity that you have upheld. Like, the Bible is right. Everything in the Bible is right. So if you question that as a friend or whoever in my life, I got to defend this, because this is woven into my identity. I don't know how to separate me from the identity of a Christian. And when you're dealing with that, those two are one. And so that belief, that constructs, I think I saw it in the comments, somebody said belief system. It is literally systems. They are interconnected, and that system becomes your identity. It's like you put on that embodiment of it. So if I come against a belief you have, you don't register that as, oh, Mark is saying some truth. You register that as, you are attacking me, because the identity is me. So until a person has shown some sign that they're ready to have those conversations, or they ask my honest opinion, I keep it to myself,
Man.
because maybe the experience is working for you. Okay, cool.
No, see, that's gold, man. And what I want to ask you is, like, where did you learn that at? Where did you learn that, hey, sometimes people are ready for this type of information, sometimes people are not ready for this type of information, and sharing this information with someone who's not ready could actually result in harm for them? Where did you learn that type of nuance at? How did you develop that muscle?
I call this guy my mentor. He's passed along. I never met him. I just read his book. It's called The Harmonic Wealth. His name is James Arthur Ray. There's one line in his book that has stuck with me ever since I read. He says, there are many ways to cross the river. I can only show you the way that I took. Whoo, that's so powerful. I get chills when I just say it out loud. Like, there are many ways to cross the river. I'm going to swear by the way I took, because that's how I got across the river. But there's many ways. I'm not going to say your way is bad nor good, because that's based on perspective. And so the goal is to get you across the river. If the goal is to get people across the river, which I believe my goal is to help people cross the river, your way may be Christianity. Your way may be this, your way may be this. So I'm not going to condemn your way. Now, if you ask me, what way did you take, Mark? I'm going to tell you my way. And so that relinquishes that MLM type of energy of converting people and
Mhm.
telling people their way is the wrong way, because that's what we used to do. Like, I
Yeah.
used to tell my friends, like, yeah, you could put that down. You need to do this. And them friends started to slowly back up. And I'm looking around like, the people I went to high school with, the people, my buddies, they not hanging out. Yeah, they don't want to hang out with you no more. Every time they talk to you, talking about going to church and what they don't need to listen to Beyonce and they don't need to do this. And nobody want to talk to you. So
Yep.
I feel the same way over on this side as I'm deconstructing my journey. If I continuously want to put down what people are using to cross the river,
Yeah.
then eventually they're gonna be like, you don't want to talk, you know. And
Yeah.
I do believe in enlightening people and sharing,
Yeah.
and I can share
Yeah.
my experience, my existence, and I do. But I just know how tied to ideologies people are because I was once there.
Yeah.
Political beliefs, because you
Oh,
once there.
yes.
So I just understand there's many ways to cross the rivers.
Mhm.
I'm going, if you want my way, I'm gonna show you. If not, cool. I'll just look at you from afar. I'll be like, that's a damn dummy right there. Look at her. She is rowing that boat
Look
backwards.
at her, just
Look
the
at her.
wrong way.
Just the wrong. She going the wrong. She going against the stream, the current. She just wasted energy. But if she eventually gets there, I'm glad you made the
Yeah.
other side, sister.
Well, there used to be a saying which said, let the main thing be the main thing. And so what I really hear from this is really having a goal-oriented mindset.
Yeah.
And if the goal is to get people across the river, it's really you're questioning the effectiveness of what you're doing. And if this is not going to get them across the river, why would I be doing this? If this is not going to help them get across, what is my goal? And that's something that I do often challenge people on. Is my goal to shame them? Is my goal to make them feel bad? Or is my goal to get them across the river? And I think one of the things that I've learned, especially in my work, is like, and this is why I say, I don't exist to change people's minds. I think that's one of the most dangerous types of things you can get into, is trying to change other people's mind. And like you said, it recreates that MLM type of structure. I'd prefer to create spaces that make it safe for people to change their own minds. Because what the place where we change our minds at is on that spectrum of safety. I need to be safe enough to be able to say, you know what, I don't think I agree with this. I need to be safe enough to be able to say, I changed my mind, and nobody says, oh, you unstable now. You know what I'm saying? I need to be safe enough to say, you know what, I think I grew out of that. But the other side of that safety is that is the discomfort of what I like to call the time paradox. And the time paradox is we're all grateful for the fact that we are not where we were 10 years ago. But we often can't realize that some people are where we are 10 years ago.
Jeez,
they're on a different level on that time paradox. And it's ugly right now. You know what I'm saying? It's like, damn, I wish they'd hurry up. And I'm like, surely someone 10 years ago were looking at me saying, damn, D, it's ugly right now. I wish he'd hurry the fuck up. You know, I'm sorry. You know, but it's that time paradox that we have to sit with that complexity of, because that's all required to create those safe spaces.
Yeah. But even thinking about, several times in this conversation, you've asked, how long did it take, or this and that? And I don't recall saying 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 months, years, decades, So if someone on the outside was looking at me like, I see potential in him, I see he's going to come on the other side, but we need to speed it up, they may have took me way too fast, and I would have become defensive and said, wait a minute, now I got to dig deeper in here because you've alarmed my nervous systems.
Come on,
it's rattling like right now. All the alarms are going. So now I got to anchor down on what I believe. I got to pray harder, fast harder, and get more, So that's how I look at it now. Even with my community, over the years, I've changed my messaging, how I approach, because it used to be a prayer call I had every Monday, and I would get on from top to bottom. All of it,
Let's go.
And listen, I was telling somebody, I now believe in spiritual system. So I may take a piece from this, a piece from that, a piece from that, and bring my system together. And this is my space. So every now and then I steal a robo shata, I'll do it.
Let's go.
I still would do it, you know, and
Yes,
feel
indeed.
something from it too, because
Come on now.
I still identify with that construct, that belief
Yeah.
system. But previously, you know, you would have got on my call 5 years. That's all you would have from top to bottom, speaking in
Yeah.
tongues and God is now it's more teaching, it's more consciousness, it's more, and like I said, it's not for all people.
Yeah.
And initially I was like, okay, the moment I started to really wake up, I was like, oh, I gotta teach this, I gotta teach it in a way, and this is that, and just something just was like, nah, not yet.
Mhm.
Slow and
Yeah.
steady, slow and steady. Because if I take them slow, I'll take more people with me. And if
Come
that's
on.
the goal, if to take more people with me, I'll go slow. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't want to have an abrasive shock factor. Like, all what you've been listening to is wrong. That's wrong. That's wrong. Like, even like Monday, I was just telling you, I was teaching about morality. I was
Yeah.
just saying, hey, just because you are good doesn't mean you're going to get good results. And that whole being good in itself, like, I'm a good person,
Come
so I should
on.
get good fruits and good results. How many people that you know go to church are genuinely good people and lived poor, went to church,
Bruh.
consistent, died poor? And they
Come
was
on.
waiting for the manifestation of prosperity by this word of the wealth of the wicked is
Yeesh.
laid up for the righteous.
You
Like,
better
no,
say
I
it.
want mine right now. I don't want to
Come
be
on.
waiting on an illusionary promise. Like, give me my wealth now. But
Yeah.
to get that, I have to relinquish certain things and
Yeah.
principles. But over time, I've been teaching people these things. But like I said, it's slow. It's slow, you know. So we step by step, baby steps.
So like, and which means you've been going through this process of deconstructing very publicly. This
Yeah,
isn't
yeah,
just
yeah,
you know, going through. You stayed publicly with your community. You stayed publicly with your
yeah,
work.
yeah.
What does the pressure feel like to change your mind in public view? What does the
Ooh,
pressure feel like to evolve while people are still looking at you and
yeah.
expecting you to be yesterday?
Yeah, it's like what you said earlier about when you brought in the obviously gay guy.
Mhm.
And immediately over a week, you know, you saw people drop out. Like, when I came out as gay, it wasn't like an immediate thing, but over a period of time, like, people
Yeah.
started to fall off, drop off. Um, as I start talking more, introducing more concepts, you know, about spirituality, not talking about scriptures as much as because everything I used to teach used to be all surrounded by scripture, because it was tied to this belief to empower people, because I'm a preacher. Gotta have a
Yeah.
scripture to go with it. This is a
Yeah.
prayer call. So then I changed the name. It was called the prayer call. And then we went to prophetic business for entrepreneurs. Now it's called Mastering Life with Marc Coley. And it's been
Yeah.
that way for, I want to say, about 2.5 years now, maybe more. But each time that name changed, it was me shedding an old identity,
Yeah.
because each name represented a construct that I had to stay in. And I
Mhm.
was expanding so fast that I couldn't stay under that title. People join a prayer call, they expect you to be praying for an hour. And
Yep.
I was like, I'm not doing that. That's not what I feel I want to do. Then I went to the prophetic business. I was like, okay, well, that's going to expand how I can have a conversation, because I can talk more prophetically and declare the word of the Lord and all that. And I was
Yeah.
like, nah, that's another box. So each time, I believe evolution requires you to consistently break out of an old box and go into another one. But it never stops. You know, the
Man.
box we both are in right now will
Yeah.
not be our box a
That's
decade from
right.
now, because we're going to continuously expand and continuously question. So that's where I am right now. Mastering life right now fits me well, because I'm talking about life principles and experiences. But doing it in real time is very scary, because you're always, for me, especially dealing with sexuality, you're always waiting for that rebuttal of someone
Yeah.
telling you, love the person, hate the sin.
Mhm.
And you're just waiting for it in different forms. Like, even when it's not about your sexuality, like, it's just,
Yep.
you're waiting for that rebuttal of, nah, nah. And
Yeah.
through therapy of really having such a love for myself, it's now I'm getting to a place where it's like, literally, your validation is just, it sprinkles on top of a cake that's already done. The cake is
Yeah.
done. It got whipped cream. It's ready to go. Sprinkles really don't even add nothing other
That's
than
it.
just a little color, a little razzle down. So you saying I'm proud of you, Mark, or I believe in you, Mark. It's great. I don't reject it.
Ooh.
It's just sprinkles, because I can eat the cake without you doing that, and it's still great. So that's where I am right now. Like, so doing that work of that just self-love and living out loud, it's just I think this is all a part of this is what we're supposed to do. Like,
Yeah.
we didn't get here privately, and we shouldn't grow privately as well. I don't want to go for
Mm.
5 years and come back and say have a whole new belief system.
Come
In
on.
real time, you should see this
See
evolution
me.
as we saw with you,
Yeah.
as people are seeing with me. Even me sitting next to my community, it's growth, it's evolution. The videos I have on YouTube, I had one video that went viral from my page. I was like, oh, like 7,000 people. I got nervous.
Yes,
Those
sir.
last few days, I was anxious when that video went out, because I was like, who saw it? What? Hold on. Like, what's going on? I just start
Yes.
getting nervous. Like it's out there in the public,
Yeah.
but I'm okay, because this is a part of the journey. Like,
Yeah.
you as a leader, I hope people not offended by this, but you literally have to get naked in front of people and
Yes.
do your evolution. And
Yes.
that's the call, I believe, on my life. Like, I
Man.
got to do it in front of you.
Yeah.
I got to do my
I
little shake
literally
it first.
tell people I got to get naked first so you'll feel comfortable doing the same.
Yes.
That's like it.
Oh,
That's the
man.
only way we
That's
give
it.
other people permission to live out loud.
I got to get naked first. Jeez, that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I think, and again, I think we have to create that safety for people to start wrestling with their own questions and going through that process out loud. The analogy metaphor that absolutely kind of guides my perspective in most things is that we're all the blind person touching the elephant. Which means like we're all touching a big piece of this thing, and if I just try to define it by what I can feel, I'm gonna get it wrong. And so the only way that I can really get a better view is to be willing to ask somebody else, hey, what you feeling on your side? And then what you feeling on your side? And then what you feeling on your side? And then I got to be willing to do the hard work of piecing that together. And that's the thing that gives me what I like to call just epistemic humility. When anybody asks me what I know, my first question is, how do I know? Because if I be honest about my limitations, there are certain things that are just beyond me. Those are my blind spots. And so what I don't need people being fake around me. I need people to show me your real self, because you're showing me that life can impact people differently. You're showing me that people can respond to life differently. And sometimes in life, what we need to know is we need a better view of all the options on the table. I need to be able to look out in the world and say, dang, that thing about me that I thought was weird, strange, or broken, look at there. I see other people out there, and there's nothing wrong with them, so there's nothing wrong with me. Damn, this is making a conversation.
Man, I got to say this part.
Yes, sir. Come with it.
People, how do I say this? Because my partner kind of is in this space, and we're a part of a different generation by a decade. And I completely understand his perspective. And I believe two things can coexist at once. His perspective is more on the private side, but I don't need to know your business, this and that. I get it. I understand it. I'm more on the side of it's almost like this built-in thing where I gotta say something, because people need to see what's possible. And if I don't sit in this seat, then who? Then what? Then how? Because we need, like you said earlier, and I heard it a different way. It's like when people see you letting yourself be free, it gives them the permission to be free. Like when that's how we get free, is by seeing others be free. That's literally it. That's the cheat code. They see you living in your truth as a gay black man. They say, whoa, hold on, I could do that too. And I have so many guys that come up to me privately and say that exact thing. Like, how did you do it? Like, man, I'm struggling in this area. Because why? Because they needed to see me do it. They needed to see somebody that looked like them doing it. So I think two things can coexist. I do think there are some people that do feel that they're not to be on the front lines and advocating and this and
For
that.
sure.
And I may not be at the marches and waving the flag, but I'm having the conversation out loud, you know. So
Yeah.
advocacy can look different for many different people. I'm not at the pride events. You probably not gonna see me there. But you're gonna see me in these internet streets somewhere. I'm gonna be doing my work. I'm gonna be doing what I'm called to do, and that's a part of it as well. But we gotta show people. We gotta show people the journey. You know, we gotta
I
do it
love
all.
that. I
Yeah,
love that.
yeah.
As we get ready to kind of bring this to a close, I want to ask you a more personal question,
Mhm.
and that is, if you could go back to a young Mark who was still feeling like he had to hide his sexuality, a Mark who felt safe at the church but was still having to hide, a Mark who was platformed at the church and was still having to hide, a Mark who was really being formed and learning how to read people, learning how to understand environments, learning how to shift atmospheres. What
Mhm.
would you go back and tell that Mark with everything that you've learned after going on this journey?
Oh, mm, that caught me, man. Um, I don't know if I would tell him anything. I would hug him.
Mm,
I would hug him. I would. I think that hug would communicate more than words could say.
wow.
I think that hug would just it'll say what words couldn't say. It would affirm him. It would allow him to know he is safe. It would allow him to know that nothing stops the love that is supposed to come to him. Not
Yeah.
his sexuality, not his performance. So that hug was it. That hug would do it. It would do it. It would do
Yeah.
it. I promise it would do it for me as a kid. Yeah. Um through therapy, he asked me that question. He was like, "Where do you feel safe?" And I started to analyze the spaces. And of course, home is gonna be the top of the place. But I learned that over the years, like being hyper vigilant with my sexuality, each room I'm going into and I'm trying to assess how do I need to perform for this room.
Yeah.
And that hug would just let him know, like, relax,
Yeah.
relax. You gonna outshine most rooms that you're in. So just relax and be okay. So yeah, I would just give him a hug. I would give him a hug. I think that hug would tell him everything he needs to know. Yeah. Yeah.
Brother, that is absolutely beautiful. And again, this is why I love asking questions like this, because you
Yeah.
never know the type of answer you're going to get. And that's the thing that really highlights the diversity of human experience.
Yeah.
Sometimes you think that it's an answer that somebody needs. Sometimes you think that it's a quote or an
Mhm.
anecdote or a prayer. And in this case, it's a hug. It's just
Yeah.
just to be embraced as myself and fully loved, and to know that I am okay
I'm okay.
just as I am.
Yeah.
And for the secular community that are watching tonight, I want to know. I want you to understand that's where the real battleground is at. The real battleground is not fighting against people for what they believe. That in most cases, that's just going to be spectacle.
Mm.
The real battleground is creating spaces where people can be safe, where people can be embraced in spite of their belief. You
Yeah.
begin creating that space, and I tell you that's when you create something that I personally feel, and obviously I'm biased, but I
Mhm.
personally feel we definitely definitively need. We
Yeah.
need spaces where we learn how to be human again, where we
Mm.
learn better ways to connect, better ways to build, and ultimately better ways to live together.
Yeah.
And that can happen regardless of our different ideologies, our different beliefs. We don't have to build community around our beliefs. We can
Mm.
build communities around our shared humanity.
Yeah.
And
Yes,
that
man.
allows us to
Um,
live in that place of being able to change when we need to change, as that safety spectrum changes in our lives. Man,
I'm so inspired by this.
brother, like, I cannot thank you enough for being here tonight. Can I ask you, were you nervous at all about coming on?
No, no, no.
Yeah.
I've felt extremely safe. You know, mind you, we haven't like actually talked for a long time. So
Yeah.
we've just kind of been texting, and I, of course, see your videos and different things. But no, there was a connection that I felt when we did the podcast, and I think then I had made up in my mind, we don't have to be best of friends where we talking
Yeah,
every day, but I was like, I'm gonna stay in contact with him,
man,
yeah. So and to see your growth, your community growth, just just
man.
it makes me feel good to be connected, like I'm always one of those people. I tell my friends all the time, like, hey, as y'all extend, I am going to be a fan first and a friend second, because I'm gonna be telling everybody I know him. Like, I got his phone number. Like, look. Look, watch when I text. He texts back. See that? So listen, you ain't got to worry about me, bro. I'm gonna be here. I'm gonna be right. Yeah. When my friend texts me about you, I was like, yeah, that's my bro. I know him. He's like, what's up? What you talking about?
bruh. Well, I can honestly say that feeling was definitely mutual. Anytime I see you in the chat, I'm like, oh shit, Mark had time to check in on me. Look at that.
Yeah, man.
Look at that. I'm proud of the work that you're doing, man. I'm proud of the way that you're walking through your journey and just living your life out loud, regardless of whatever conclusion you get to. I love the fact that you are living a life that is committed to increasing well-being and decreasing harm in all the ways that you can. And to me, that's what matters at the end of the day.
Yeah. Sure.
And so y'all, thank y'all so much for joining us tonight. I'm going to go ahead and close it down here. I'll give y'all a little music to ride out to. But listen, make sure you share this video with somebody who needs it. And trust me, you know somebody who needs it. So make sure you get it over to them. Don't forget to like the video. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel because it helps. And there's a little bell that you can click. Click that thing. That's how you get notified. And if you look at the little link across the screen, or if you want to go to the description, that's how you can subscribe to Marc's channel and go check him out. He has some really good content on there. But that's all I got for now. Let me click this button. Until next time, y'all keep rising.
Made it through hunger, you made it through pain, you made it through drought, and you made it through rain. You rose over conflict, you've conquered your shame. You've done it before and you'll do it again.
You made it through hunger, you made it through pain,
Yeah.
you made it through drought, and you made it through rain. You rose over conflict, you conquered your shame.
Yeah.
You've done it before and you
Do it again. There is nothing that can ever take your place, 'cause you made it. You are one of us, this global human race. You made it here.
There is nothing that can ever take your place.
'Cause you made it here. You are one of us, this global human race. You made it here.
You made it through darkness, you made up your mind.
Yeah.
You dealt with the hardest of times.
Oh.
You're finding your joy now and learning to shine.
Oh.
Enjoying your voice and reclaiming your time.
Again, you
Made it through darkness, made up your mind.
Yeah.
You dealt with the hardest of times.
You're finding
Finding your joy,
now.
learning to shine.
Enjoy.
Enjoying your voice and reclaiming your time.
There is nothing that can ever take your place.
You made it here.
You are one of us, this global human race.
You made it
Yeah.
here.
There is nothing that can ever take your place.
You made it here.
You are one of us, this global human race.
You made it
If you know that you made it, come on, stand up and say it. 'Cause there is nothing that can ever take your place. You are one of us, this global human race. Oh, there's nothing that could ever take your place. Is anybody glad that you made it?